What if just 5 minutes a day could transform your life? What if the secret to mental clarity, emotional stability, and genuine peace of mind wasn't found in expensive therapy, complicated routines, or endless self-help books, but in simple daily practices developed over 2,000 years ago? The ancient Stoics emperors, slaves, and statesmen discovered that small, consistent habits practiced daily could completely reshape how you experience life. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire while practicing these exact habits. Epictetus went from being a slave to becoming one of the most influential philosophers in history, using these same principles. Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, credited these practices for his peace of mind. Today I'm going to share with you 5 daily Stoic habits that take just minutes to practice, but can fundamentally change your mental well-being and life satisfaction. And at the end, I have a challenge for you that could make this week the beginning of a completely different life. Let's dive in. Before we get into the 5 habits, let's understand why daily practices matter so much in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that philosophy wasn't something you studied, it was something you lived. Epictetus taught that we don't become philosophers by reading books, but by practicing what we learn until it becomes second nature. Think of it like going to the gym. Reading about exercise won't build muscle. You have to show up, do the reps, and stay consistent. The same applies to your mind. These 5 habits are like mental exercises that, when practiced daily, build psychological strength, emotional resilience, and a deep sense of inner peace. The beauty of Stoic practices is their simplicity. They don't require special equipment, dedicated hours, or perfect conditions. They can be done anywhere, anytime, and they compound over time. Small daily investments lead to massive long-term returns. Now let's get into the first habit that can change your mornings forever. The first habit is the morning intention, and it takes just 3 to 5 minutes when you wake up. Marcus Aurelius began every single day with this practice. Before his feet hit the floor, before he faced the demands of ruling an empire, he would mentally prepare himself for the day ahead. In his private journal, which we now know as Meditations, he wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." Now that might sound pessimistic, but here's the genius of it. He continued, "But I cannot be angry with them because we are made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids, like the rows of upper and lower teeth." This is the practice of preparing your mind before the chaos begins. Here's how to do it practically. When you wake up, before checking your phone, before scrolling social media, before the noise of the world floods in, take 3 to 5 minutes to sit quietly and ask yourself 3 questions. First, what challenges might I face today? Think about your schedule, the people you'll interact with, the tasks ahead. Anticipate difficulties without dreading them. Second, how do I want to show up today? What kind of person do you want to be? Patient, focused, kind, disciplined? Set your intention clearly. Third, what is within my control today? Remind yourself that you control your effort, your attitude, your responses, not outcomes, not other people, not external events. The simple morning ritual creates a mental buffer between you and the reactive patterns that usually run your day. Instead of stumbling into your day and being tossed around by whatever happens, you step into it prepared, centered, and intentional. The Stoics called this prosody, attention or mindfulness to your own mind. Start tomorrow morning. 3 minutes, 3 questions. Watch how differently your day unfolds. The second habit is the pause practice, and this one you'll use throughout your entire day. Epictetus, the former slave who became a great Stoic teacher, gave us one of the most powerful pieces of practical wisdom ever recorded. He said, "It is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things." Read that again. It's not the traffic that makes you angry. It's your judgment that traffic shouldn't exist. It's not your co-worker's comment that hurts you. It's your interpretation of what it means. Between every event and your emotional response, there is a space. In that space lies your power to choose. The pause practice is about expanding that space. Here's how it works in real life. When something triggers you, an annoying email, a rude comment, an unexpected problem, you pause before reacting. In that pause, you ask yourself one question: is this within my control or outside it? If it's outside your control, you release the need to fix it, fight it, or fume about it. You redirect your energy to what you can control, your response. If it's within your control, you respond thoughtfully instead of reacting emotionally. This sounds simple, but it's revolutionary. Most people live in constant reaction mode: stimulus, response. Stimulus, response, like puppets being jerked around by external events. The pause practice cuts those strings. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Practically speaking, here's what you do. When you feel frustration, anger, or anxiety rising, take one deep breath. That breath is your pause. In that moment, mentally, ask, control or no control. Then choose your response consciously. Some people find it helpful to wear a rubber band on their wrist and snap it gently as a physical reminder to pause. Others set random alarms throughout the day as pause reminders. Find what works for you. Over time, this pause becomes automatic and you'll find yourself responding to life with calm clarity instead of reactive chaos. The third habit is negative visualization, and it takes just 2 to 3 minutes, ideally in the morning or evening. This is one of the most misunderstood Stoic practices, but also one of the most powerful. Seneca wrote, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." The Stoics regularly imagined losing the things they valued: their health, their possessions, their loved ones, even their own lives. This sounds morbid, but the effect is the opposite of what you'd expect. Here's the psychology behind it. We adapt to everything good in our lives. That's called hedonic adaptation. The car that thrilled you becomes just transportation. The relationship that made your heart race becomes routine. The job you dreamed about becomes mundane. We stop appreciating what we have because we take it for granted. Negative visualization reverses this. When you briefly imagine losing something, you suddenly see its value again. Your ordinary Tuesday morning becomes precious when you consider that it's not guaranteed. Here's the practical method. Once a day, take 2 to 3 minutes to gently contemplate impermanence. You might imagine your phone being stolen, then feel grateful you have it now. Imagine your health failing, then appreciate that your body works today. Imagine your loved ones gone, then feel the depth of gratitude for their presence now. You're not dwelling in fear or sadness. You're using brief contemplation to break the spell of taking things for granted. The Stoics also use this practice to prepare for setbacks. If you imagine the presentation going poorly before it happens, you're less devastated if it does, and more prepared to handle it. If you imagine losing your job, you might actually prepare a backup plan instead of being blindsided. This practice inoculates you against the shock of loss while flooding your present moment with gratitude. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Never regard something as doing you good if it makes you betray a trust, lose your sense of shame, or makes you show hatred, suspicion, ill will, or hypocrisy." Negative visualization keeps your perspective clear and your gratitude alive. The fourth habit is the single task focus, and this is something you practice throughout your day during any activity. The Stoics were obsessed with presence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." He also said, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." We live in an age of constant distraction. Our attention is fragmented across dozens of tabs, notifications, conversations, and worries. We're physically present, but mentally scattered. The Stoics would view this as a form of self-inflicted suffering. When you're doing one thing but thinking about 10 others, you're not fully experiencing anything. You're just skimming the surface of your own life. Single task focus is the antidote. Here's the practice. Whatever you're doing, do only that. When you're eating, just eat. Notice the flavors, textures, the experience of nourishment. When you're in conversation, just listen. Give your full attention to the person in front of you. When you're working, work on one thing until it's complete, or until you've reached a natural stopping point. No switching between emails, messages, and tasks every 3 minutes. This isn't just productivity advice, it's a path to presence and peace. Seneca warned, to be everywhere is to be nowhere. When you're mentally everywhere, you're present nowhere. The practical method is this. Choose one activity each day to do with complete single-pointed focus. It could be your morning coffee, a work task, a workout, or a conversation. During that time when your mind wanders, and it will gently bring it back. No judgment, just redirection. Over time, extend this practice to more activities. You'll find that life becomes richer, work becomes more efficient, and the constant background anxiety of fragmented attention begins to fade. The Stoics understood that the present moment is the only moment we ever actually have. The past is memory, the future is imagination, only now is real. Single task focus trains you to actually inhabit your life instead of constantly escaping it. The fifth habit is the evening reflection, and it takes just 5 minutes before bed. This might be the most important habit of all because it ties everything together. Seneca practiced this religiously. He wrote, "When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, I examine my entire day and go back over what I've done and said, hiding nothing from myself, passing nothing by." This isn't about guilt or self-criticism. It's about honest self-assessment that leads to continuous improvement. The Stoics believe that wisdom comes from examining your life, learning from your mistakes, and refining your character over time. Here's the practical method. Each night before sleep, take 5 minutes to review your day by asking 3 questions. First, what did I do well today? Start with acknowledgement. Where did you show patience, kindness, discipline, or wisdom? Where did you act in alignment with your values? Celebrating small wins builds positive momentum. Second, where did I fall short? This is where honesty matters. Where did you react instead of respond? Where did you lose your temper, waste time, or act against your principles? The goal isn't to beat yourself up, it's to see clearly. Seneca said he approached this review like a judge examining a case, firm but fair. Third, what will I do better tomorrow? This transforms insight into action. If you lost patience with your spouse, commit to pausing before reacting tomorrow. If you wasted 2 hours scrolling, commit to putting your phone in another room during work hours. Specific intentions lead to specific improvements. This nightly review creates a feedback loop. You become your own coach, mentor, and accountability partner. Over weeks and months, the compound effect is remarkable. You start catching yourself in the moment, noticing when you're about to react poorly and choosing differently. That's the development of character, which the Stoics considered the highest goal of life. Marcus Aurelius used this practice his entire reign as emperor, and the journal he kept during these reflections became the book Meditations, one of the most influential works of philosophy ever written. You don't have to be an emperor to benefit from this habit. You just have to be willing to look honestly at yourself and commit to growth. Now let's talk about how to actually implement these 5 habits in your life. The biggest mistake people make with new practices is trying to do everything at once. They get inspired, attempt all 5 habits tomorrow, feel overwhelmed by day 3, and quit by day 7. That's not how lasting change works. Here's what I want you to do instead. Choose just one habit to focus on this week. Look at the 5 we've covered: the morning intention, the pause practice, negative visualization, single task focus, and the evening reflection. Which one resonates with you most right now? Which one addresses your biggest current struggle? If your mornings feel chaotic and reactive, start with the morning intention. If you're constantly triggered by people and events throughout the day, start with the pause practice. If you've lost appreciation for your life and feel stuck in a rut, start with negative visualization. If you're scattered, distracted, and never feel present, start with single task focus. If you feel like you're drifting through life without growth or direction, start with the evening reflection. Pick one, just one. Practice it every single day for 1 week, not perfectly consistently. There's a difference. You'll miss days. You'll do it half-heartedly sometimes. That's fine. What matters is that you keep coming back. After 1 week of consistent practice, that habit will start feeling natural. Then you can add another. Within 5 weeks, you'll have all 5 habits integrated into your daily life, and you'll be a fundamentally different person than you are today. Here's your challenge, and I want you to take this seriously. For the next 7 days, practice 1 Stoic habit daily. At the end of the week, come back to this video and leave a comment sharing your experience. What did you notice? What changed? What was difficult? What surprised you? I read these comments, and your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to start their own journey. The Stoics believed in community. They taught each other, challenged each other, and held each other accountable. That's what we're building here. When you share your experience, you're not just reflecting on your own growth, you're helping others grow too. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What injures the hive injures the bee. We rise together, or not at all." Let me leave you with this. The Stoics weren't trying to become emotionless robots. They were trying to become fully human, present, intentional, resilient, and wise. They understood that life would bring difficulty, loss, and suffering. That's not pessimism, that's reality. But they also understood that how we meet those difficulties is entirely up to us. These 5 daily habits are not about controlling your life. They're about mastering yourself. When you master yourself, external circumstances lose their power over your peace. You stop being a victim of your emotions and become the author of your responses. You stop drifting through your days and start directing them with purpose. Epictetus, who spent his youth as a slave and his adulthood crippled, said, "It is difficulties that show what men are." These small daily practices prepare you for those difficulties. They build the mental and emotional strength that will carry you through whatever life throws at you. And here's the beautiful paradox. By preparing for the worst, you free yourself to enjoy the best. By accepting impermanence, you appreciate the present. By examining your flaws, you develop your strengths. That's the Stoic path. Not a destination, but a daily practice. Not perfection, but progress. Not control over the world, but mastery over yourself. Start tomorrow. Pick 1 habit. Practice it for 7 days. Then come back and tell me what happened. I promise you, 5 minutes a day, consistently practiced, will change your life more than you can imagine right now. As Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Stop wasting time on things you can't control, and start investing in habits that build an unshakable mind. Subscribe if you want more Stoic wisdom and practical philosophy to help you live with clarity, purpose, and peace. Check the description for additional resources on getting started with Stoicism. And most importantly, take action today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today, choose your habit, set your intention, begin. I'll see you in the comments with your results, and I'll see you in the next video.